Welcome to this explainer. You know, have you ever looked at a law, a specific regulation, or maybe a massive legal ruling and thought to yourself, how did that actually get there? We tend to think of the law as this rigid, immovable structure, right? Completely divorced from messy human emotion. But today, we're diving into a fascinating framework that shows how everyday human feelings, our daily struggles, and our deeply personal experiences actually construct the hard, objective legal rules that govern our lives. We kind of just assume laws are these pure, objective facts handed down from some neutral void. We really want to believe the people designing our legal systems are perfectly detached, unemotional observers. But as scholar Donna Haraway famously put it, there is no view from nowhere. That totally detached perspective, it's just an illusion. Every single analyst, jurist, or philosopher is looking out at the world through their very own highly specific window. And that really begs a massive question. If the law doesn't come from some magical, neutral, God's eye view, we have to ask, what is the actual source code of our legal institutions? If laws are built by humans, how exactly do a human's flawed, subjective experiences transform into binding rules for all of society? All right, let's map out our architectural journey for today. We're going to cover 1. The myth of neutrality, 2. Entering window zero, 3. Experience becoming intuition, 4. Forging the concepts, 5. Winning social recognition, and finally, 6. Building the institution. Let's jump right in. Starting with Section 1, the myth of neutrality, challenging the objective void. So there is a serious clash at the very heart of how we understand systems. On one hand, you have this God's eye view, the myth that a legal thinker can completely detach themselves from their culture, their language, and their personal history to write perfectly neutral rules. But in reality, what we're actually dealing with is situated knowledge. Every piece of analysis is deeply rooted in an embodied, living reality. You literally cannot separate the thinker from their environment. Which brings us to Section 2, entering window zero, the methodological confession. Think about it. Before a thinker can even begin to theorize about the law, they are, first and foremost, a living, breathing human being. And window zero is exactly that realization. It's not just some tiny footnote in an academic document. It is the ultimate confession. It's a bold declaration of the analyst's own history, their culture, and their everyday life world. It's basically the analyst raising their hand and saying, hey, before I give you my theory, let me tell you who I am and exactly where I'm standing. Moving on to Section 3, experience becoming intuition, the roots of thought. Now, this internal journey spans 4 really distinct steps. It kicks off with Step 1, just basic human existence. Then we move into Step 2, where we develop our lived experiences. From those messy daily experiences, we cultivate Step 3, which is an intuitive apprehension about right and wrong. And that intuition finally crystallizes in Step 4 into the formation of a concrete concept. Let's break down how this actually works in practice. Take the phenomenological concept of erleepness, or lived experience. The author Amir Mohamad Ardalan grounds this deeply in his own window zero. He talks about being an Iranian human living in Tehran, witnessing daily encounters with injustice. He describes seeing property used as a tool for domination in courtrooms, and liability just getting completely lost in the labyrinth of proving fault. This is the raw material of thought, guys. It's not theory yet. It's just the pain and friction of daily life, or what he refers to as functional Druj, basically chaos. And it's those raw experiences of chaos that spark Step 3, what phenomenologists call Wesensschau, or intuitive apprehension. Now, this isn't just some vague, passing feeling. It's a sharp normative perception. It's that gut punch realization where you look at a situation and say, absolutely not. This is injustice. This promise must be honored. Ardalan describes this as perceiving the sense of asha, this deep, undeniable, intuitive knowing that a proper order must step in and replace the chaos of Druj. All right, Section 4, forging the concepts, from feeling to language. To really wrap our heads around Step 4, concept formation, there's a brilliantly evocative metaphor we can use. Think of that deeply human, intuitive feeling of right and wrong as Hafez, the beloved Persian poet. But here's the thing. Poetry alone doesn't govern a society, right? That poetic intuition has to find a way to take solid shape within the structural institutional order of Darius, the great ancient king. The analyst literally has to take the raw intuition of justice and forge it into hard, concrete legal concepts like liability, property, or the Aishaic order. Next up, Section 5,
Winning social recognition, stepping into the public sphere.
This is where the journey goes external, completing our final 3 steps. We transition from step 5, winning social recognition, into step 6, creating a normative order, and eventually arriving at step 7, building the actual functioning legal institution. The real kicker here is that no matter how genius a legal concept is inside someone's head, it absolutely must pass step 5. It has to leave the analyst's brain and enter the public sphere of discourse. Societal validation, or what the author calls communal justification, is the ultimate filter. Society has to look at the concept, argue over it, and eventually accept it. Only if the human community recognizes it does it actually become a viable, normative order that regulates our behavior.
Which leads us to our final stop. Section 6, building the institution, the final edifice.
It's totally fascinating to see this methodological confession mapped out across the entire 7-step chain in reality. You can clearly trace how the author's own Window Zero, just existing in Tehran as a human in the age of AI, leads straight to his daily encounters with the legal system. That friction sparks his intuition for Asha, which he then translates into formal, concrete concepts. He pitches these to the legal community to forge a normative order, all driving towards his ultimate Step 7 goal, the actual physical reconstruction of Iran's legal institutions to create predictability and synergy. Every single high-level law is tethered right back to Step 1. And this really brings us to the core ethical takeaway of this whole explainer. True methodological ethics, it isn't about faking some objective view from nowhere. It's certainly not about pretending you don't have biases or personal experiences. As Ardalan powerfully writes, it's about radically transparent positionality. It's saying, look, here is my path. I am not neutral, but I am transparent. By showing us his Window Zero, he's actively inviting us, the readers, the public, on a shared journey. We can either critique his path or choose to walk right beside him. So let me leave you with this final thought. The next time you look at the laws governing your society, or heck, even the everyday rules in your workplace or community, just remember, someone's lived experience built them. And even more importantly, when you evaluate the world around you, what is your Window Zero? What personal history, what daily frictions, and what hidden intuitions are forming the very foundation of your own worldview? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the architecture around you.